This is the beginning of a crypto and commodity supercycle. And yes, you can get bigger gains chasing meme coins, meme stocks, and that's getting all the attention right now as the stock market goes to all-time high. But if you look, gold and silver are sending the warning. War is not over. The US is in a silent recession. Inflation is still hot. And so this is why we're seeing the metals make that push. Gold back up again in a major way. Silver finally playing catch up. And I was just looking back, trying to pick a thumbnail for this video. And I noticed that I actually had made a video a while back talking about Keith Neumeyer's prediction of $30 silver by the end of this year. I recall back at Vancouver Resource Investment Conference where the consensus on the silver panel that included Lynette Zhang and others was kind of, heading towards the $30 silver this year. And sure enough, just a few months later, here we are in May, and we're starting to see that spike. The other commodity that drew my attention in Vancouver was copper. And once again, it's not as sexy as crypto, right? But now we've seen copper's gone up about 30% so far this year. And now copper has gone into all-time high price discovery. Now, how does this relate back to crypto? Well, you have kind of the same drivers from an inflationary standpoint, money printing standpoint that are going to drive these assets higher. But then you have the utility value that's, been known in the commodity space, but it hasn't been respected. It hasn't been invested in. And they have permitting and all this process that takes 10, 20 years, even longer, to get the commodity out of the ground. So even if it is being respected, it still takes a while to produce it. This is why we have a supply deficit for the last 3 years on silver. In regards to cryptocurrency, we have the drivers of inflation, but the utility hasn't been understood. The utility hasn't been respected. And so this is why it's been a meme coin mania. Everybody's focused on Bitcoin, which has no utility, but it's a good store of value. They say it's a good store of value, right? And, they have their story about their other meme coins and what have you. And that's fantastic. However you can make your money, that's great. For me, as a fundamental value investor, it's very clear. Utility is about to be respected. Real value provided by commodities is being respected. And we're not just talking about this anymore. We're not talking about going to $30. We're not talking about gold going to all-time high, or is copper going to go to all-time high? It has been achieved. Now take a look here, folks. This is your gold chart going all the way back to 2020. And you can recall, during 2020, we actually went all the way back down here to 1,157. Or sorry, that was 18. My apologies, that's right. In 20, we only went back to 1,451. 1,400 in gold, right? And let me zoom back out. Here we go. So this is your gold chart, and you can see that triple tap. This is what we did, and then we were coming up here, and we knew these don't hold. The triple taps, the triple tops do not hold. Sure enough, we break through, had a little bit of a pullback in February, but then it was off to the races here once again. And look at what we just did. 2,435. That's a 50% swing from the lows of 2022. Let's step on over to silver, and you can see the triple tap has been achieved, and now we're about to pierce through. We're about to pierce through once again. And now in 21, we went all the way up to $30 and about 6 cents. And it looks like we have the momentum behind us to go break this thing again. The one thing that we will have to watch for, we're kind of seeing it in the stock market, right, is the shorts. Are they going to try to beat up this one again and bring it back down? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Are we about to pierce through $30 for silver, or are they going to knock us back down again? But without a doubt, the trend is there. The momentum is there. Copper going to an all-time high. And I want to show you a couple data points too that are also driving this move. See, not only is it the inflation here back home, not only is it the value being respected around the world, but it's a matter of the assets that countries and institutions around the world are actually dropping, including our dollar for trade and including treasuries at the biggest and largest pace ever. China just dumped the largest amount of U.S. treasuries and agency debt in history. That one's from Bar Chart. Let's get another one from Michael Burry. That's right, folks. The big short investor piles into physical gold fund, making it his biggest bet, $10 million worth of this physical gold fund. So Burry isn't putting it in his vault. He's not self-custodying, right? But he's buying a fund here that really is just a fund that holds gold. And he makes his biggest bet. Okay, now, this is what's so interesting to me is we're at all-time high for gold, right? So to make your biggest bet when we're already at all-time high, tells me that he must see that we still have a ways to go. Now, the fundamental value of gold and silver is debated anywhere from, 4 to 40,000 per ounce for gold. For silver, the fundamental value, folks say, is anywhere from, 50 to 500 and beyond for silver, right? And like I always say, I'm excited to find out. Is XRP going to $5 or 589? It's going to be fun finding out. Is gold going to go to 4,000 or 40,000? Going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time, but it also is a signal, and it also is sending the warning of how bad things are. Now, if you just turn on CNBC, they're not going to tell you that. Gold Telegraph shares, first we saw a squeeze in nickel. Now we are seeing it in copper. Central banks led by China keep buying gold as more and more countries look to de-dollarize. And like I said, they're de-dollarizing and they're dropping our treasuries. It's the 1-2 punch. They're dropping the dollar for trade. They're dropping it as a reserve. Many are focused on meme stocks when the element that is the glue of the economy is being squeezed. Hold on, and that's copper. And if you want to do a Green New Deal, if you want to make a Green New World, you need that copper. You need a lot of it, way more than what we got right now. And so this is a very interesting moment, folks. And for me, they're both suppressed assets, commodities, and cryptocurrencies like XRP, where the utility hasn't been respected. Now, we know what our fixed supply is for XRP. Yeah, they can continuously find some more silver, right? And some more of these commodities. But the difficulty of them getting it out of the ground and actually bringing it to use, that's the challenge for these commodities. And so we're going to continue to see deficits in the commodity space because we've had a lack of investment. All of the investments has gone to equities, has gone to other areas. And even if you are wanting to invest in the commodity space, the permitting and the processes take you out 10, 20 years plus. And so that's a constraint on supply, and that's going to be a driver of price higher, fueled by inflation, money printing in other countries around the world, and even folks within the United States that want to get away from the US dollar, and we're trying to stack as much of this stuff as we can. And the same drivers come on over to the cryptocurrency space. I want to add on to the crypto point, though. What we're seeing is the ETFs have arrived. Now, when the Bitcoin ETF arrived, I related it back to the gold and the silver ETFs. When the gold ETF was introduced, gold did a 5x after that. Right? After the silver ETF was introduced, it did a 10x. So I made the argument that for cryptocurrency and the broader cryptocurrency space, I believe that we're going to see a 5 to 10x with ease over the next decade because the ETFs have finally arrived, and that's going to allow way more institutional money and investments to be made into the space. Just look over the last week at how we've been reporting how Wells Fargo's added Bitcoin to their balance sheet, JP Morgan, all these investment boards. I mean, the list is now everybody's starting to disclose that they have the spot Bitcoin position. Well, just wait till they can pick up spot XRP, large cap funds, you name it, utility crypto funds, right? That'll be stuffed with a handful of utility cryptos. There's going to be all sorts of ETFs that get created, and I believe that that's going to be one of the main drivers of this super cycle, along with I do believe that eventually the Fed will have to turn back on that money printer and make it go burr, and that is also going to be another driver as well. Okay, so inflationary pressures driving both spaces, utility finally being respected in the commodity space, also finally being respected in the cryptocurrency space, regulations coming in as well. But then the last driver is going to be that ETFs. And the reason why I say this is describe it as a super cycle is because the amount of money printing that, amount of money that can potentially flow into this space. But then the ETFs being introduced, this is all new liquidity coming into the space. This is not money that's been in crypto. This is money that doesn't have any exposure to crypto that's coming in, and it's coming in to stay. Not just going to Bitcoin, but going to large cap funds, going to XRP. And the word on the street is that we do have some XRP ETFs on the way in the United States of America. So you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think about this crypto and commodity super cycle. We have finally gone all the way up here. Did I show you guys the silver chart? I think I did. Yeah, I did. All the way up to nearly $30 for silver has been achieved. Gold back up to 2,375, pushing that 2,400 again. Love to see it. Okay. Now for XRP, the thing is just as consolidated as an asset can be on that chart. We've been showing that descending trend of that wedge now for years, right? And when that thing does go, it's going to rip and absolutely melt faces. So please be prepared for that. Okay. But let me know what you guys think about the drivers that I brought up for this cycle and why I think that it can be extended well into next year. If we follow the cycles in cryptocurrency for the past few, we would be carrying this bull run into next year. And when you look at, obviously, with the election coming up, inflation probably is going to be coming back. We would assume that no matter who gets elected after this election cycle, we're going to open it back up, fire it back up, make it go burr. And really, it's the only way out, right? The only two options are default, admit that we're broke, bankrupt, and bust, default, and write off our debts, or inflate to pay back the bills, to pay back the liabilities. And it's not just the 34 trillion in national debt that you see, it's the 120 trillion plus of unfunded liabilities. And the interest on that debt is growing rapidly. It's now at a pace of about $1 trillion every few months. So we're at about, 3 trillion per year just on the interest on our debt. It's not sustainable. The other thing that I wanted to make a point about is Robinhood or Coinbase can't shut this down. The stock market, whatever's happening, getting halted, getting stopped with the GameStop, with the AMC 38 times in one day, you ain't halting this. To stop this, to halt this, you got to stop me from leaving my house with it. So utility with no counterparty risk is what I'm going to be investing in. You guys let me know what moves you're making. I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you are looking to get precious metals or cryptocurrency, also if you're looking for wallets to store your crypto, it's all available at my website, zachrector.com. We can get metals shipped directly to you. Or if you want to roll over a 401k retirement account, we can facilitate that as well. I was just watching a clip. Some 50+% of Americans don't even know that there's fees attached to their 401k. They don't know what they're invested in, and they don't even realize that there's fees that they're paying on top of, your money manager is telling you that you made the return. Is he calculating in the fees that he's taken as well? See, there's no fees other than when I pay my premium to my dealer, I pay a little bit of a premium and then it's mine with no counterparty risk, no management fees. And if you got M's in the bank account with your gold and silver, you might have to pay some storage fees, but that's a good problem to have. I wouldn't mind having that problem, having to pay a little bit of storage fees because we got a pallet of gold brick somewhere. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about this commodity and crypto super cycle, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.